What is up, buds? Welcome to Weed&d, the pot-positive live tabletop role-playing experience. I am your Dungeon Master for the night, Brandon Allen McClenahan, but my buds call me Bam. It is so good to have you guys here, man. This little project just keeps on rolling, and I gotta say, it's a little piece of magic in all of our lives. This has certainly been a strange year. For everybody involved, cast, the production crew itself, everything, every single one of you watching. So I just got to say, it has been truly just the greatest pleasure of my life to have something where we can all just kind of come and hang out and be ourselves and have a good time and laughs. I just got to specifically shout out the incredible chat here on, if you're watching us live on Twitch, the chat in WeeDnD might be one of the funniest things I've ever seen. When I have to go back and review the episodes, and I'm literally just like crying. Like Steph has to come in and check on me from time to time just to make sure I'm okay. Because it is so, you guys are amazing. I love you. Thank you so much for just creating such a wonderful community that it seems everybody that comes into kind of has a place. And I mean, I gotta say, when it comes to love, man, art, acceptance, like that's what we're all about here, man. So thanks to our community who seems to stand for the same things, and it's such a treat. So thank you guys so much. Big shout outs and congrats to our winner from last week, Gray Lotus. He won the Abby Dandy Miss April pinup and hot rod calendar. Freaking awesome. You should be getting that shortly. And then we're doing another soundtrack giveaway tonight. So if you would like to win a little sample of the wonderful music, all designed by the immensely talented Sandy Stein, all of our music on the show is original, which is something that I just absolutely love and am thrilled by. And so, yeah, go ahead and type hashtag WeeDnD in chat to make yourself eligible to win one of those. So, holy crap, guys. I am, after the resolution of last week, I'm not even kidding, all week, I've just been jonesing for some of that D&D. Gotta see what happens next. Hopefully you feel the same way. I'm pretty sure you do. So, what I'm gonna do is bring in my favorite group of people in the entire world by passing this magical joint through the fibers of the interwebs to my dear friend, Brenna. Hey, Brenna, how you doing, girl?
Oh, man, I am doing so well. I'm feeling the groove. I'm rolling it out. I'm getting ready. I'm going to do some more damage because Bruenor was kicking some ass last week.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, last week went really kind of cool for me, but maybe not so much for our baby girl, our sweet, darling baby girl, Miss Tynna Smoothhands with Miss Abby. What's going on, girl? How you feeling?
Oh, I'm feeling stabilized, at least. I'm feeling ready to dive into this D&D is how I'm feeling. Abby D&D here, aka Tynna Smoothhands. But I also wanted to extend a congrats to Gray Lotus for winning that calendar. Super excited about it. It was so much fun to shoot, and I'm glad that you get to take it home with you now. But I'm ready to get into some D&D. Let's do it. So, Drewby, what you got?
Ooh, thanks, baby. What up, y'all? Drew, Thoricus the dwarf. I'm tired again. Papa needs a nap. These guys are fucking it up. People disappearing. Like, you think they're held. They turn into a T-Rex. They appear from the fucking shadows. It's like a goddamn magic show. I don't know. Anyway, I'm really glad that you guys are here with us. I'm going to pass this off to my best friend. Come on and airdropping it to you. It's coming quick.
Whoa, jeez.
Get that?
Yeah, that was quick.
Yeah, sorry.
Man, speedy, fast, prime delivery. Shit, not a sponsor. What's up, everybody? Jake Taylor here as Riel Othervon, and like all of my amazing buds, I'm just so excited to be here and play this fucking game. We got a Tynna to take care of. I think we could all use a nap at this point. Nap would be good. And there's a lot of questions in this story, many of which, I'm sure, are wanted to be answered by my buddy Gus. What's going on up there, my friend? Oh!
Yo! Oh, appreciate it, Jake. What's up? I am your boy, Gus Two Blunts Langley, playing Divot, Duvet if you're nasty. Ladies and gentlemen, all the wowzers out there, I just want to say I wanted to hate my dad. I wanted to hate him so much. But god damn it, he was so fucking cool! Shit! I went out and got a pipe just because of him. Like, I'm gonna smoke blunts, but I have a pipe, so I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna pass this shit back to the man of the hour, Bam.
Ooh, it made it back unfazed, like it seems to every single time. What a magical thing the internet is, and truly the game of Dungeons & Dragons itself, with all of its many Tyrannosaurus Rexes and disappearing men with magical pipes. I love it. All right, guys, we got us a little ritual we like to do around here. Maybe you have heard about it, maybe you haven't, but we like to take a little lighter, like my little pickle guy right here. Look around, make sure we're not going to light any of our friends, family, or household pets on fire, and go. Lighters out. Let's play some fucking D&D, guys.
WeeDnD, high fantasy, literally for you and me. So load up bowl and make a roll to take control. WeeDnD.
Gets me every single time. All right, guys, well, shit, I guess we didn't come here for nothing. If you'll please allow me to set the mood. When last we left the Ferocious Five, things were quite dire indeed. After having engaged Tynna and Divot's estranged father, the nefarious Shren Oldbuck, in battle, the Five found themselves somewhat outmatched against the might of the forces of the Syndicate. There seemed no limits to the machinations that a lifetime of criminal activity had yielded Shren as he unleashed truly terrible magics upon the Five. The stone golem, guided by a necklace that hung on Shren's neck, unleashed its tremendous power on the small but mighty frame of the bold Tynna Smoothhands, breaking the bones of her body and sending her to the place in between life and death. Like her father, however, Tynna also had a powerful magic necklace granted her by Ubaru, with the power to stabilize her dying spirit. In a clash of smoke between the clouds of Divot and his father, laying eyes on him for the first time in his life, while nearby Thoricus and Bruenor dispatched the Syndicate thugs and menacing battle mage. Rial made use of his invisible mage hand, and in a swift burst, both removed the necklace from Shren's neck and sent the old buck flying toward the ground, where he landed with a hard thud. But Shren, the slippery old Koja, used his hat of teleportation and made a hasty escape. And it was then that Rial realized that Shren had managed to steal the luck blade from his side just before being cast off the cliff's edge. All right, guys, we jump back in. You all stand in the crossroads, and at the in-between place between Emerella, the cities of the north, Revella, Nambuldir, and the Dryads' Colt. A crossroads where one time you met this strange and extravagant goblin that went by the name of Boxo, but currently yielded only an encounter with these Syndicate thugs. Your father, Tynna, and Divot, Shren Oldbuck, seemingly plotting an ambush against you guys, but one that was mostly sussed out by your planning when you came in. The invisible assassins, not quite the threat that they could be once Divot knew they were there. You look around at the same, at the battlefield. Currently several pretty savage sights around. To the north area, the Syndicate thug that was the front half of him was chewed off by the savage sharp teeth of the D-Rex, and you see, just a pile of innards and bone laying where he stood. Behind you, the fallen corpses of both of the assassins who were slaughtered, one by Thoricus, one by Bruenor, if you'll recall, one that was kicked off the cliff and just kind of smashed into a pile of goo on the ground. The entire southern brigade of these thugs of Shren's and the Argovian battle mage lie mostly in pieces and burned and scorched by Brian's magical fire. They all kind of lay in a pile on the south side. The air is kind of still right now. Rial, you stand up on the cliff edge 15 feet on the east side of the map. You're kind of looking down, standing almost shoulder to shoulder with one of the agents of the Syndicate. You see they all look at each other in this moment as Shren has just teleported away. Rial, you're still taking in the fact that this magical relic, once at your side, is now gone. You're all looking around. The giant stone golem, now with no true controller, shifts strangely, pivoting from his middle section. His arm will raise. You hear the grinding of stone, but there's no more force in his movements. He seems confused almost in this point, this creature of magic with no one to command it. You look around and you feel kind of the tense air, the cool mountain breeze that brings that kind of sweet smell of cinnamon as these Feywild touches start to pop up in the canyons of the mountain around you. You see these purple and pink and blue and orange flowers sprouting from the rock cracks where once there was only normal, normal foliage. And so, even that mist, that smell of cinnamon that you guys had when you were engaged in the Fey War at Kringle's workshop, you're starting to smell that kiss of cinnamon a little bit on the wind, as if that Fey influence is starting to become stronger and stronger in this area. As you all kind of look, everybody, it's a little bit of a Mexican standoff as you guys kind of, hold your weapons and stare at each other. Everybody's seemingly unable to move, except for the one syndicate thug, Bruenor, that you had tried to intimidate. You see again, he rolled super hot on his morale check. And so you see, while nearby all the syndicate thugs are starting to shake in their boots, you hear shifting rocks under their feet as they're kind of trying to figure out what's their way out of this. Like with no Shren, the golem's gone, the battle mage is dead. Now it's just a bunch of these syndicate flunkies. And you see a look cover all their eyes, save for he. And you see he quickly makes a dash over to the body of Tynna Smoothhands that's lying half semi-conscious on the ground. And with a sweep, you see him hook the front of her armor, pull her body up, and set a knife to her neck. What do?
Daddy?
Stay
I'm
back.
completely unconscious.
Oh,
Right.
all right. Oh, okay. Okay, all right. Just cool your jets.
I'll kill her.
Right. Why? Have you thought about why? What? Why follow that asshole? You clearly are your own man, and I respect that. I come from royal lineage.
Well, you let me go.
I would.
She catches your wording and looks suspiciously over at, Thoricus still dripping in the blood of his allies.
But that
That when I got
is because you would have earned my trust. The only way that you could earn their trust is if you let her go. Make a choice.
He looks around. Make me a persuasion check, Bruenor.
Son of
you're doing
a
it
Will
really.
see.
Daddy laying it down, yeah.
Okay. Persuasion.
We see who the real daddy is.
Boom.
How
Ren
does
ain't shit.
17.
All right. You see him kind of looking around. You see him look behind him on the trail, and there's still just like the scorched remnants of his friends, that have bathed in the green fire of Brian's breath weapon, and the pieces of the Argonian battle mage that detonated when she took that shot from your axe that split her face in twain. So you see, he looks back at that, and it's a pretty gruesome sight for him to feel pretty comfortable. And he looks back and he's looking around. Now, Bruenor, really, you're the only one that kind of stands in the way of him and moving. I know this map is a little confusing, and I've been using East and West pretty liberally in this point. But if you go down on the map, that's to the north. That's toward Nambull Deer. I need to put a map compass on here. But you're the only one that stands between him, you and Brian, standing up on the cliff edge, are the only ones that stand between him and the path he seems to be intent on going. So he keeps his hook around Tynna, and he looks at you all, and he starts backing up, kind of shouting over his shoulder to you, Bruenor. If you promise me I'll be safe, then you let me live. And then you see he kind of looks up at the other guys, and they're all like, what about? And he's like, and them too. You let us go. And I'll let her go. But I gotta have your word on it. And he looks at you, Bruenor, and he's asking for your word.
So, you believe that you have the upper hand here. I like your confidence. It's unfortunate that your own leader left you, so I don't know where you think you are headed, but I do know that there are people that could use all of you men.
His eyebrows kind of scrunch as he looks at you a little confused.
You wouldn't have to go back to Shren. There's other people that could use you in other villages. You could be put of use to some sort. I'll let you go. And I kind of she's speaking loud enough, she kind of gives a look over to Rial, who I'm giving a look to everybody that's conscious. To Tynna. I'm trying to get her safe, and if I'm going to let you go, I need you to promise me your life will be worth it. Are you gonna make that choice? Because clearly, and I gesture to the men below me, I can make that choice for you. Do you want that to be mine, or are you gonna take responsibility for yourself? And then I kind of look at the other guys.
You see as you kind of look at the more cowardly bunch, the ones kind of shaking in their boots, specifically the one closest to Rial, just noticing that his feet are kind of standing on a cliff's edge and Rial is behind him. You see they're all like, oh yeah, no, we'll walk old women across the road and we'll turn it all around. You don't buy it for a second from any of them, but you see the one with the knife around Tynna's throat, hearing of this different life. He's ruminating on the idea. And he looks up at you with a bit of sorrow in his heart. He says, I'm a wanted man. Even if you let me go, there are those that want me for what I've done. What's to stop them from getting me? I don't even know if I remember how to be good anymore. And you see the dagger kind of like lowering from her neck a little bit as he's kind of just thinking about what you've said.
Yo,
I'm at least... Oh, go ahead. Sorry, buddy.
So if I may, in this moment, I stare right at them, and I'm gonna cast Healing Word, but the way that I want to do it is I want to look at Tynna, and I want to say, "Let her go." And the guy thinks I'm talking to him, but I'm really talking to Death.
Woo. Woo.
Unbeknownst to all of you, save Divot, he watches as this man has a knife to his sister's throat, and just behind him, this illusionary red mask of death, slowly sucking the essence of life from Tynna's Smoothhands, seizing on the opportunity to draw upon pure life energy, his counterpoint, if you think. And Divot, you kind of reach out, your own red mask of death set in the flesh on your face. Your dark, hollow eyes shine for a moment as the healing word passes telepathically through your mind to Death's. Tynna, you were kind of standing in that hallway again, that strange in-between place, back and forth from it so many times now that it's this strange, tumultuous, you're stable, you're alive, you're dying again, the necklace brings you back. So, the life force of you is tapped. How much does she get with that heal?
So currently, she gets 1d4.
Oh, nice.
And then plus your charisma.
Which would be 4.
All right, so go ahead and roll the d4. I don't know why I didn't roll it as part of the spell card. Sorry, but I might have to look into that spell, make sure it's set up right. All right,
so that's a 3 plus 4.
Nice. So 7. Tynna, you again, being at 0, we were kind of playing you in the semi-unconscious state. Just to be clear on the rules of D&D, she was fully unconscious. I just thought it was pretty cool that her brother's magic kind of helped carry her around the battlefield while she kept stepping into danger in the most inspiring and badass way possible. So, in this moment, though, however, receiving some healing, some not temporary but true hit points at last, Tynna, your eyes you surge back. You feel the rush of that first, like an energy similar to the pink mist, that where Divot draws his bardic magic from, which is then quickly, you take a deep breath and you feel the sharp point of a knife as you breathe in. You realize your body is being clutched. Right now, you're currently grappled by this guy. So because you failed dexterity and strength checks, so you're currently grappled.
that fresh, lovely, energizing light, and then I'm immediately made aware of my situation. I try to tense and struggle against, but I know that I'm held and.
Yeah, so you can actually go ahead and make me a strength saving throw here, Tynna. He's not particularly expecting you to come back to life. Again, Divot communicates telepathically. All he really saw was him stare and point his hands forward, And so while he's holding you, suddenly you start shifting in his arms. Bruenor had kind of thrown him off a little bit of his game. The knife wasn't right up to your throat or anything.
I rolled a 17.
Okay, nice. That's actually good enough. So yeah, Tynna, in this moment, he's got you grappled, and he's still kind of looking around like, can I be good? Do I even know how to be good? And suddenly you start shifting, and he's so out of sorts that you break free of his arm, and you kind of are able to pivot and turn yourself. You're staring him directly in the eye. He has his dagger back. He retreats his knife back and starts stammering back. Stay away from me! Stay away! And you see, as that happens, they all scatter. You see they start running. Rial, the one that's directly next to you, you'd get an attack of opportunity if you'd like to take it in this moment. You see he's going to try to run past you. They're all just going to scamper and see if they can get away.
No, I at least just want to grab him in my Trial form. And since I've got that barky, gravelly voice, a la Christian Bale Batman, I talk like this now. For the time being. I just want to look him dead in the face. Just be good and leave. And let him go.
Rial, you're a little taller than he is right now, so you have to move your little tree fingers down and wrap him. You see as the roots kind of wrap around his cheeks and his chin and pull him up. You draw him up about 2 feet in the air, and you just harp at him to be good. And you see his face. He's completely terrified. He thinks you're about to crush his skull in this moment. And then you just let him go. He drops the 2 feet, kind of lands on the ground, looks up at you, and then like a cat in a cartoon, his feet are just on the ground, and he just starts scrambling down this ledge and running to the south. Now you guys, you see, the 3 of them all start running south. You're free to do what you want. The 2 to the north, they're going to take their chances on their own, not run past you guys, and start headed toward the north. So, again, we're in narrative function right now, so feel free to, however you want to react to that, you can. But that is what you see. You see them all starting, the stone golem still just kind of standing there not really doing anything. But the remaining syndicate agents are all kind of scrambling for it.
Well, I look around and I immediately notice that Shren is gone. So I require more information. So I believe they're in my range. I'm gonna just try to pick one off with a little bit of Sacred Flame Radiant action.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe I can grab both of them.
Yeah, to be totally fair, these guys wouldn't be able to get all the way down this cliff face. So you see, they're scrambling. They're so scared. They're tripping on their own feet, and they're kind of pushing off of each other. You screw you, dude. I'm getting out of here. And you just see, the character of the men that you're dealing with, as they just beat feet to get as fast away as they can. You notice the one that Rial let go has a little extra zest in his step. He gets the farthest. But you see as this other one that's kind of coming around the ledge, you're just Tynna, you can't believe it. Shren is not here right now. The last you saw him, he was on top of the cliff edge, where now only Rial stands, holding this guy up by the roots. So yeah, the whir of battle suddenly, you're alive, but oh my god, where did Shren go? You start kind of panicking a little bit, and you shoot a Sacred Flame over at the guy that's burning down.
It's a total desperation move, and I know that if Shren isn't here, there's big problems that could be happening. So I try to pick off that closest syndicate, and I approach if I'm able.
This is dope. So Tynna, yeah, suddenly, you guys are all kind of you all make your point, and they start scrambling. And Tynna, you start looking around, and you feel that storm, like a river coming down a mountain that doesn't have a course yet. Your power is starting to kind of rage out of you in this moment. You wanted this moment with Shren. You stood against him, and now he's gone again, this slippery fuck. And you turn, and you just go, no, and your eyes flash gold. And you all hear, the the booming voice that she does when she uses her spell. It just comes out of her, and you see this golden hand of spiritual light just press one of these syndicate dudes against the wall. You see him stuck as this burning hand, similar to when you burned the impression into Tyrenius's chest. You just have him fixed against the wall, and their powers are a little outside of your control, but you feel that, again, you and Shantia, you have that control. It's not like there is Dude. You do.
But in this moment, I feel angrier than I've ever felt before, and in that same booming thaumaturgy voice, addressing the syndicate, where is he? Where did he go?
All right, so in this moment, the remaining ones are totally fine letting that guy be tortured against a wall by himself. So I did want to say, yes, you'll be able to have this interaction with him, Tynna. I just wanted, just for clarification, the dude's running to the north, the dude's running to the south, and I know it's flip-flopped. But are you guys letting them scramble out and just kind of keeping this guy?
Yeah, fuck him.
All right. So yeah, you see again the cowards.
That's what I think, but I don't want to call. I don't want to speak for anybody else.
I'm preoccupied, so pick him if you got him.
Yeah. I mean, what's up with old dude that is having like second thoughts about coming to the dark side?
Yeah. So he, I will say, not to put too blunt of a point on it, you can tell Bruenor that whatever you said got to this guy somehow. Everybody else is running away. You see he can't help but back away. Like he's looking at what you guys just did and the opportunity that you had and the fact, it's like he's seeing heroes for the first time. You imagine he's been strong-armed through money or threats by the syndicate organization to do what they please, and you spoke to him as a man who could make his own decisions. And this notion of like, could he ever go back? You just see him kind of having this like thing as he backs away. He's not staying with you guys, but I will say it does appear that something has gone on in this dude's mind. Maybe that might present itself at a later time, perhaps.
But not now.
Yeah.
No, he's kind of, he doesn't want to die. He's still not like, he's at first he was like, okay, cool, they're gonna let us go, and then one of them got pressed into the wall with a magical hand, and he's kind of like, okay, I should probably go though. Like they want to talk to Steve. So you guys, you have questions for Steve? Go ahead and talk to Steve. You got.
All right, so we have Steve.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm still holding Steve. I kind of relinquish my grip a little bit, try to calm myself and take a couple deep cleansing breaths. And if I can, I still hold it there threateningly, but wait for him to respond.
You see, he looks at you and he's like, Shren, he didn't tell me.
I completely drop all the effects completely. So think long and hard. He's not here now. Where did he go?
Yeah.
And you let me go, yeah? And you let me go? You let me go?
You don't want to break your legs.
Let you go. I'm not here to hurt you. Please, where did he go?
I'm here to hurt you.
All right. I don't know for certain. He goes many places. But
Where is it most likely?
Nambu dear. He was riding with the Argovians south.
Okay, thank you. And then I just totally disregard. I'm done. Turn back.
You just walk away.
Nambu dear.
And you see, he kind of looks around, and he looks at you, Thoricus. He stares directly at you. He's like,
Well, get the fuck out of here.
I'm gonna go then.
You served your purpose. Get the fuck out of here.
And you see him kind of like sliding along the splintery rocks that are behind him, and he just like kind of like squeezes his way down this mountain path. And if you guys are content to let him go, he runs in the direction of, interestingly enough, Nambaldir.
Yeah, I don't plan to hurt him. I said I would free him, and he is freed.
Later days, bro.
You see, he's just kind of like, he's kind of like grabbing at his pants as he runs away. Like that was the most terrifying thing that's probably ever happened in his life.
Oh yeah, good job, guys.
We better get a 5-star.
Oh, 5-star.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm feeling pretty torn up. should we find somewhere safe to maybe rest a minute and figure out what's gonna go on? What we're all gonna do?
Now that everything's calm, it's like, Tynna.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
you fucking you died. You died.
Move on. All I do is shove things down, and this is just, yeah, what's up, guys? Yeah.
But,
You need
like,
rest. Absolutely.
That was
Yeah, you know, Tynna, you're like, let's go, and then you go to take a step, and you kind of like fall over. You're just so tired and weak from that encounter.
I'm feeling a little woozy, guys.
Yeah, no shit. Would you like to go for a ride on the Bryman? And I gesture to the thick wiggly boy that's probably been chomping on a body for a minute.
Yeah, you kind of look over, and he's got one of those nice cooked pieces of meat that he himself charbroiled, and he's just kind of like gnawing on this guy's calf, just like.
Yeah, I think it might be nice if Brian and I hung out a little bit.
So you see Brian quickly wiggles over to you and kind of presents his back for you to lay on, you know, similar to how Bruenor sleeps on him.
I just plop down. I'm so exhausted. Yeah.
Cool. I feel like we can probably get Ubaru now. Do you guys think that's a good idea?
You know, as you say that, you kind of look down the path, and you just see him kind of like peeking out, you know, his big bushy eyebrows, and he's just like looking down the road to see if you guys are okay. You see immense worry in his eyes as he's just kind of looking down at this golem standing there and the immense battle that just took place.
I'm plopped down on Brian, and I notice Ubaru, and I kind of just like raise my head up. Ubaru! Come here!
Tynna! And you see he comes out, you know, he grabs his little rucksack of things and walks his way down to where you guys are at. You know, he kind of rushes over a little hurriedly to you guys and sets down his bag almost at the foot of the golem, which you see he kind of just keeps eyeballing, like, you know, he's like, every time it moves, he's kind of worried that it's going to hit him. But his concern for Tynna Smoothhands in this moment overwins. And he reaches down, he pulls out just a healing potion, Tynna. So he's going to give you get 2d4 plus 2. You get 6 more hit points as you see he reaches down. Oh, Tynna, here, my dear. Oh, and he pours
I feel the goodness and light, and even more of that positive life energy restoring to me, but I'm still feeling like a little loopy and like, you know, like if you ever get your blood drawn, that like you get that like splotchy feeling. Yeah. So I see Ubaru come up, and I'm like, you saved my life. Ubaru!
And he's
and I'm like pulling out of it a little.
Yeah, you're just kind of like, ah. You see he reaches down with a big smile crosses his face, and he reaches down, you know, you're a little disheveled from battle, and he straightens up, you know, the front of your armor and where your cape connects, and then you see him kind of readjust the necklace that he gave you. You know, this necklace of wound closure that
and like as his hands are adjusting the necklace, I'm in a little dopey haze, and I'm like, yeah, the necklace, Ubaru, and everything sort of starts to slowly come back to lucidity, and I gain control of my words a little bit, and I address him, and I'm like, somebody who would give me something like this deserves a reward in return. And I look over at the stone golem, so close, nearby, and is there a way that I could try to magically enchant it? Or maybe it's not all sussed out, but I want to, essentially in this moment, I want to present this to Ubaru.
Okay, well, actually, so we have kind of like, we've kind of, it's like a shield guardian in the sense that the necklace that Rial currently has on is what allowed Shren to control this golem. Now, Rial, you've been trying to kind of attune the magical energies to this thing, and there's a bit of a short between your energies and this creature. You're not finding yourself, able to control it. Certainly, like most magic items, there's probably some kind of attunement or something that might need to take place. And so, yeah, Rial is the tree form of you kind of comes down. You know, you see the last bit of your magic as the battle now fades away. You kind of return to your normal form. You see that Tynna is basically asking if you would give the necklace to control this stone golem to Ubaru.
Rial, I think Ubaru, with his many years of experience, might make a fine partner with this stone golem, don't you?
We had the same idea.
and then I'm gonna jump off the cliff, but then turn into normal Riel as I approach. the
Dope.
group.
If you see it peel off like a cloak that you just rode behind you, the magical energy of your transformation just kind of peels off from behind you as you jump out. The real form of you dexterously lands on the ground. You look forward. You take the necklace off. You can kind of feel that weird humming energy in the stone that rests within it. And you reach out. You see Ubaru at first kind of looks at you all, looking down, a little gingerly at Tynna, happy to see the color return to her cheeks. He says, I have found in my many years. And he reaches out, Rial, and he grabs the chain, but he lets one finger kind of tap the top of your wrist as like a thank you in the moment. He pulls it away and he looks at it. Many things come into your life just as you need them. And he puts it on the necklace. And you see instantly the golem gets down on one knee next to him. And he just kind of rests his hand on his head and leans into it. Rial, kind of the arcana of it all, you're like, did he just attune to that in a moment? Like, how can he do this? You were trying to do that, and so it's like one of those crazy Ubaru things where it's like, how did he walk into the tiny hut? There's something up with this Ubaru guy. And yeah, you see he kind of like, he just leans against the golem in a moment. And then he looks down and points at the necklace that you're wearing, Tynna, and he's like, wouldn't you agree? Almost as if this gift was one of foresight, perhaps.
I just
I'm gonna
smile
say-
and nod knowingly.
I'm gonna say, if you make this guy a bad guy at some point, it's gonna break my heart. And
No!
Why
I'm
do you-
just,
why
I'm
do you
just
feel
letting
like-
you know, like, if Bubaru is
Is
bad,
Ubaru?
yeah.
Spooky.
He's still the mimic. The mimic Adu Bar.
That'd be so stupid. So
God.
bad. I'm just saying, like from me to you, like from Brenna to Bam, if you did that to me, I'd be very sad. There's two things. It's that and like harming Brian. I'm like, oh, my heart.
What? I would never.
Yeah, there would be riots in the streets.
Yeah, I did. I feel it's important, just so you know. I pointed out that detail not to be like, oh, you should have seen it coming all along. It was more just to be like, hey, this guy has these weird little magic quirks that he does that are a little different. I understand paranoid PCs. You could be like, wait, why did he say it like that? Like, what do you mean? Yeah, is this synthesis? I promise you, Ubaru is not synthesis. I didn't
That's
wink.
what
What are you
you
talking
I would
about?
know. I would know.
Yeah, it's
It's-
I'm just giving you a heads up. I'll cry for like a day and a half. That's a
Oh
long
man,
time.
36 hours of tears lay on
Yeah.
the lap. Yes. No, Ubaru's great. I love Ubaru. I don't want to see my man's turn evil either.
Okay, great.
Uh,
Just making sure. We're on
I
that.
feel like
I gotta-
Shren's
I
kind of the
gotta
great
tell him.
dick though. Like you're like, fuck Shren, man. That guy. is so
Shren's
sweet.
like there's like the two sides. You know how like in it's got the turtle, like that turtle thing. So that's like Shren and Ubaru. That's literally, I've never read the books. That's all I know.
Now you got it. You
I
got
don't
it.
know.
It was a really good, like for not knowing, it was perfect. Like that was a great comparison.
Yeah.
That's because I'm in real life. I'm a bard. Daddy's a bard.
Daddy just
Ubaru,
knows you
Brian.
drilled right to the core. You've got all the drilling companies just like working like extensively, and Daddy just hit the center.
So high, so deep, incorporated.
So high.
Oh,
So
I see.
deep.
Okay.
Ugh.
Okay, so like, Ubaru's got this stone golem best friend now.
Yeah, you see Ubaru again. He kind of attunes to this thing pretty
Steve
quickly.
Austin.
He's got some kind of weird, fanciful magic about him that's just charming with his bushy eyebrows. But yes, you see him kind of like looking around at you all, a little surprised as he kind of like looks at the damage around you. Now remember, Ubaru last watched you guys fight when you were, to use the D&D term, what, level 4? And so you didn't yet have the ability to turn into Tyrannosaurus Rexes and cut people's legs off, and Brian didn't even have a breath weapon. He wasn't much of a Dracodile. And so, yeah, you see him kind of just looking around at this battle around, just bits and pieces of the Argovian battle mage on the ground. The couple cooked syndicate members, and then even the stone golem itself, which really only suffered some pretty minor chops to the outside of it. And he's just like kind of blown away again. He's your guys' biggest hype guy. He's just like, I never believed it, but you are truly becoming heroes of destiny. And he looks around, but something is amiss. I smell magic. And you see, kind of walks his way over to the spot where you saw Shren disappear. He smells the air. He turns around and he looks right at you, Rial. The sword. The blade. And he looks down, and now this is the only time you guys are now suddenly aware of this. You look down, Rial doesn't have the luck blade at his side anymore.
Oh, Rial, you still have the luck blade, right?
You took it. You
The
bastard.
fuck blade.
Took it.
You sold it for drugs, didn't you?
Oh,
Okay, no.
You could have just whisked for crack.
Not anymore, I can't.
Come on.
Friends, I don't think you realize how big of a deal this is. If Shren has the luck blade, there's just limitless evil that he could spread.
Well, he still has to take the curse off of it, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, the curse.
Good point. Yeah, you guys do know
That's the whole
luck
reason we
blade
brought it to him?
is inflicted with a curse. Yes. One of the things you actually had considered was maybe having to ask him to get rid of the curse for you. Interestingly enough.
So he still has to do
You're right, Thoricus. That will take time, and he'll have to gather ingredients, and so I think we might have an opportunity here to get the blade back. Maybe get the jump on Shren after he's decursed the blade.
Okay. And he can't tell time because the sun's still stuck up there. My sundial said fucking 12:07 for like the past 3 months.
The guy that sold it to you promised it would work in all conditions, and you're like, whoa.
You don't want to
Commando
walk
Reaper.
around in a group with a guy who fucking freezes the sun, evidently.
Well.
So let's make haste, friends. And yeah.
Let's make breakfast, friends.
That's a great idea. Shall we rest here, or should we try to find a secluded spot?
You know, I'm really curious because this is the same spot where we ran into that freak Boxo, right? And didn't he hop down in that bush down to the south, just on that little ledge or something like that?
He did, yeah. You if you'll recall, he just kind of like literally like dove like if into water into the bush,
Right.
And then you just heard the chattering of goblins kind of like disappear and run away. Like that's the last time you were here. That is what happened. Yeah.
I want to use my like extra like perception to like look around and see if I like see anything that is out of the ordinary.
Make a perception check.
We were so distracted with the battle, and now we're not.
That's absolutely true. In fact, there was a couple perception checks in there that you guys failed that I asked you for that you might not have realized what they were for. So, Divot, please give me a perception check, and you have advantage with your robe of eyes as you kind of like you see the many eyes on the vest kind of start looking around, including the new eye of Mithra Willowsong. The amethyst-colored purple eyes start kind of looking around on the horizon, now a part of this magical essence. You kind of zone the area in 360 degrees around you, Divot. You kind of see the trembling of a couple leaves in the breeze, and you're like, is that movement? No. And you're kind of just like listening, putting your thoughts out there, feeling around you. You don't really notice. You don't really notice anything. And Thoricus, you kind of start walking over to that bush. And you're just like, what the heck is up with this bush? So you start walking over to it, and you peer inside. Certainly doesn't appear to be any goblins in this bush,
It's a bush.
Kind of peek inside.
It's definitely a bush, though.
Can I just like, I can't see anybody, but can I just be like in my mind like, Boxo, 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 like 3 times?
Yes. Yeah, hell yeah, you can.
It's gonna be like that. Okay.
All right, Divot. So you're, again, you kind of have this ability now. You're used to your senses, just like we as people see the world in front of us through our eyes. There is this weird, like stepping behind your own eyes to let the magical energy of the vest of eye, or the vest of eyes, kind of look around you. And so you're kind of like in this in-between place, between your body and the senses of the world around you through this magic item, and you just kind of start like pinging this word boxo, and you hear this just like rustling of the canyon through the trees. All of you, not Divot, just witnesses Divot kind of just, you see his eyes kind of roll back into the mask, and he's just kind of floating in the ethers of the wind as they blow down this canyon. You see a couple rocks and dirt kind of blowing by, that sweet kiss of cinnamon on the wind once more. And in the carry of the wind all around you, you start hearing this faint and it starts getting louder and louder. And then you hear the chittering sound, thousands of different dismembered voices, just bouncing laughter echoing off the canyon. You hear the cave nearby echoing the sound of this laughter as you're all kind of looking around. And you see all the surrounding trees and bushes around you start shaking. You step back, you feel the strange wind, this maniacal laughter that spins all around you. And then suddenly you hear like a drum roll. The clashing of a cymbal. And then you hear, "Did someone say a boxo?" And you see up on this ledge to the southeast of you guys, you look up, and it's just stepping out from a tree, falling 10 feet. He lands on the ground. And he pops up onto his feet once more. "Did someone say a boxo?" And that's where we're going to pick it up after intermission, guys.
Oh, hell yeah.
Ooh.
Love
So good.
I'm so hyped for Boxo right now.
So hype.
Oh,
You made
man.
that
Oh,
Thanos, like-
sorry. Yeah.
We got to see Cake perform. Is Cake perform?
Oh, man. Oh,
Okay.
so.
It's
Keep money
going
to
Come on.
down.
Sorry. All right, dudes. We are going to do us a quick 10-minute intermission here. We will be right back. During this intermission, however, it is amazing. People have submitted just the most incredible fan art around the show, and just some really, truly inspiring artists have sent us images that literally I fall asleep looking at night. It's so freaking amazing. Plus, we get a chance to highlight the incredible music of Sandy Stein at its full and lovely volume. So hang out with us, guys. We're all going to pee, load up our pipes. I'm going to probably have to roll up another joint. And we will be back with our man, a boxo.
Oh man.
Ba-dum-bum. Ra-ba-da-ba. Ra-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba. Oh, welcome back, buds, to WeeDnD, the Boxo-positive live tabletop role-playing experience. I am Boxo. And when last we left the Ferocious Five, they stood at the crossroads after their battle with the sinister and nefarious Shren Oldbuck, Tynna, and Divot's father, who managed, like a slippery old fish, to get away. They stand around Ubaru and his new stone golem buddy. Do we have a name for him? Do we have a name? We'll figure out a name for him. Somebody write that down. I want a name for that golem within the hour. But currently the five stand looking up, up toward the 15-foot ledge, the same ledge that the Tyrannosaurus Divot leapt off of, leaving a small pile of entrails that the curved green shoes of Boxo now stand in. You see just like a little bit of liver kind of hanging out by his feet. You're kind of quickly drawn to his shoes because they are so presentational. They're these, even though he stands only 3 feet tall, his shoes extend out for nearly 1.5 feet and then fold into these great spinny ends that have little bells on them. You see at his ankles, on one of his 2 shoes, he's got like Apollo like wings on the side, and you see the wings themselves kind of beating by their own accord, like fluttering at his ankle. You see he's changed his outfit since you saw him last. If you recall, he was in that like all green outfit, but now he seems a little bit more regal. He's got like these brown leather tight pants that cover his little short 1.5 foot long goblin legs, a nice like red tan vest that he wears that has all these janglies and charms and necklaces that just shimmer and tangle as he moves around. You see his long, twisted fingers that end in these like 3-inch long fingernails, each finger adorned with like a silver, gold, platinum ring. Small jangles and bangles and jingles and jangles hang from all of his elbows and wrists and neck. You see his long, floppy green goblin ears, pointed at the tip, have extravagant golden earrings like hooked in, 3 and 4 on either ear. His face, a little different since last you saw him. You see he's now mashed some white berries and just put these white streaks down the front of his face. And then he mashed up a bunch of red berries and he put this big red outline around his mouth. And goblins, they have these wide set faces with these sharp, terrifyingly pointy teeth. And you see him kind of menacingly look up at you through a monocle that he has fixed on one of his eyes. And he bows grandly for you. You see flowing down off of his shoulders, he's now wearing an owl bear feather cloak that just kind of hangs down to the ground at his feet. Everything he's wearing fits him a little strange, as if none of this belonged to him originally, but he somehow has made its way into his possession. And you see standing before you the great Boxo. What do you do?
Yo, I see him rocking that owlbear stuff, and I think way back to when I made those owlbear claw gloves. And I see him, and I'm just like, because we had a real game recognized game moment the first time we met.
Absolutely.
So I reach into my little bag, because I don't really need these things anymore, and I'm like, Boxo, my man, I got a little something for you. And I like toss the gloves at him.
You see his eyes grow wide and his mouth, it's strange how, vicious goblins appear just by their very nature. When they smile, their mouth opens from cheek to cheek and you just see rows of these sharp, malicious teeth. But Boxo, doesn't have the same menacing, chaotic, evil threat of a normal goblin. There's something a little different about him. And as you pull these owlbear claws out, you see his eyes widen. And he almost float glides over to you, and he pulls the monocle out, and he's like, oh, fine, yes. Oh, scratched on a door there, yes, oh my. And you see him like sniffing underneath the nails, and he like takes a little pinch, puts it in his mouth, he's like, yes, fresh, very good. And then he looks up at you and he's like, for Boxo?
For Boxo.
You see, just like with a flourish of his hands, suddenly they slide on. You see his fingernails jet out the front of him, like the small gloves that you would wear. They just cut their way through him. So now there's these gloves just hanging over his hand. The gold chains and bracelets, the many danglies that he has all over him, kind of clang as he shows off his new gloves. And you see he looks around as like he's kind of looking in the sky at the top of the trees all around him. And he goes, "What do you think about that, boys?" And then you hear all these goblins just like chattering, and it seems like there's a goblin in every tree and every bush around you. You don't see him, you just see shaking leaves in the trees, but Boxo kind of shows it off all around him, and then kind of looks at you with a little like, yes, me and the boys. And then he starts posing with his gloves, doing grandiose gestures and, feigning. And yeah, you see he just kind of goes into his own little world like a kid on Christmas when he gets a toy he's really been wanting with. And you see he just kind of like starts entertaining himself, like,
Can I start feeling the vibe and like start joshing around with like I'm gonna kind of Bruenor walks up behind like where Brian came down to help Tynna a little bit.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna walk up and I'm just gonna like get caught up in that energy and just be like, yeah, and like start joshing around with Tynna, even though she's still a little bit like coming back to life. Just josh, just
what I need right now
Weekend
is
at
a
Bernie's
good josh,
joshing.
and I certainly lean into it too. Oh yeah.
The joshing of the five is
Joshing.
legendary. Bruenor, I am going to need a joshing check. You get advantage because joshing around Boxo is always at advantage.
Okay, then, well, I did it. I got 2 15s.
You were
so
set to get a 15 on that.
I'm just gonna do some solid joshing. Do I pass for joshing?
Yeah, the joshing starts taking off.
Excellent. So yeah, I'm just kind of feeling the vibe, like Boxo's here. We love Boxo! Boxo has never given us any harm before, so I'm joshing with Tynna because she's alive, and I'm joshing with Josh with
It's
the
great to not be dead.
Yes, you're not dead.
Yeah,
I'm not
And then I look over, kind of gauge how, like, this is kind of also gauging how everyone's feeling right now. Thoricus kind of got messed with and all that kind of stuff. So it's like Bruenor's also taking in like, hey, we're all alive right now and above ground. Josh.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, a
And-
15 is a
All of
pretty
us.
solid state of joshing. So, I mean, you're all free to react as you will.
Well, Boxo. It's been a minute. We have Ubaru, we have Boxo. We've had so many like good people like come back to us when we needed them most. So I'm gonna do a little prestidigitation just to make his little shenanigans that much more peppy.
Yeah, you see he's
a little
like,
more zing, a little more pep.
Rawr! And then the real sound of an owlbear, like, roar, out of his mouth. And he's like, oh, it kind of scares him at first. And he's like, and then he runs over and he gives you the first high five. You see, he's just like, ah! And you're like, oh, he's going to attack me. And you slap hands together. And you're like, what an amazing thing. And you just like look at your hand and you're like, and then you look at Bruenor joshing and you turn around and you're like, and you slap hands. And you guys look at and you feel the vibe of the Josh in your hands as you start passing around the highest of fives.
Guys, did we just invent something great?
Real, this is some weird shit.
I'm going weird tonight.
We're like
call it
high-fiving
up,
and
topsy
then
hand touchies.
Yeah.
and then
Divot
we
skeleton
start, like,
hand.
high-fiving
It's not
in a
as
circle.
rewarding. You're like, ooh, a little bony.
Yeah, it's like that real skinny guy who does it too hard.
I know the guy. All right. So, cutting through the strange and awkward tension of the many fanciful things that are occurring in this moment, you do see as the kind of aura of just like, as you guys have had to before, just laughing off the intensity of the life that you guys all live together a little bit, letting the jovial energy of this strange Boxo. Again, he's intelligent, he's smart, and he has a ton of charisma, but you all know in the world of goblins, primarily like evil creatures of darkness that, you know, feed on the weak and have no discernible structure or order because they're just chaotic little beasts. There's something to Boxo that you've never seen, you know, and as you guys, you know, look around at each other, a bunch of people that are full of qualities you've never seen in other people, but there is something strange. But you notice while he's playing and having fun with your joshing, there's like this kind of frenetic chaos in his eyes. And he's just having a really fantastic time. You guys, because of the state of joshing, so right now, you have no threats. I know you guys were talking about doing a bit of a short rest. You see, if we want to kind of involve this into this narrative bit, and you know, you guys kind of, Tynna, you're relaxing on the back of this. You know, you have a little downtime. It seems like there's no ill will from all these goblins around you, but because of Boxo, it's like you feel like you're okay. You know, it's even though there's all these presences in the trees and bushes around you. If anything, you're like, man, like nobody's getting through to us right now. You know, so this crossroad is a pretty safe place to bust out a short rest if you're inclined.
Yeah, I'm just chilling on Brian right now, and I'm thinking about what Thoricus was just saying about food, and I realize I'm really hungry. Hey, friends, should we rest up? I don't think they'll bother us. Oh, I know a hungry Thoricus when I see one. So I'm gonna see what Shantia can offer bountifully and get something cooking.
Well, maybe these guys can help out. I mean, they seem to know the forest pretty well. I mean, like, you just make a big old like buffet and all the mole eggs and all the things that we can muster up.
Yeah, you see Boxo, you know, like Tynna, you're like, I'll prepare some food. And he's like, food, you say? Well, Boxo is well renowned for his ability to procure whatever you need. Allow me. And he like reaches out and he just holds his hand out. And you see this sack come flying from the trees. And he just catches it. Let's see. We've got oranges. And he just tosses an orange out and it rolls lacklusterly on the ground. Apples. Ooh, bananas. And he throws a bushel of bananas at you. And then you see he like shows you the bag. It's empty. He flips it around and then he pours out a dozen mole eggs. Spins the bag on his finger, flicks it back to the trees, and then presents the food to you.
I give him a little curtsy because I'm truly astonished.
Yes, I can find whatever you need, my dear. And you see he's like,
in that bag of tricks, you don't happen to have a loaf of bread? A couple loaves of bread? We can't eat these mole eggs by themselves.
He like looks into the bag, and then you see he sets it on the ground, and he puts 2 feet in it, and then he grabs the handles of the bag and pulls it up over the top of himself. And you just see this like bag just sitting there in the road, and then it starts shaking a little. And the bag, like curtains, pulls down, and he's just holding 2 loaves of bread. And you see he starts juggling the bread. And then there's a 3rd loaf of bread. And then he reaches behind him, and there's a 4th loaf of bread. And then suddenly a 5th loaf of bread comes flying in from the trees. But he can't actually juggle 5 loaves of bread, so he's trying as best as he can. And then suddenly bread just goes flying in all directions, and he falls.
I see him start to lose his grip, and then I kind of reach out and then try to catch that spare flying loaf of bread.
You see it flying through the air, and you catch it, you know, proficient. You know, no halfling is going to let a good loaf of bread fall to the ground. You catch it in the air. It's perfect. The crust on the outside is just right. You can feel the soft bread within. It's begging for a slather of warm butter.
I lean over to Riel, and I kind of say to the side of my mouth, like, you could have just said yes. You could have just... And then, like, it's just...
I try to like keep it cool, but it's funny, so I'm just like
He looks over at you, you know, again, he's like lying down flat on his back. And he's like, what? Was that a laugh? I got you. Come on, tell me I got you. I heard that. And then he points over to the dwarf. I haven't seen the dwarf laugh yet. What's it gonna take? Let's see. Ooh, look at me. And then he like does a spin around and suddenly he has a huge beard. And he's like, I'm the great queen of the dwarves. Oh, look at my overflowing bosom. And he looks at you, Thoricus. No. Okay, wait! And he spins around again, and then this time he's dressed up, like an old woman with curlers in her hair. And he's like, oh me, oh my, I'm all that's left of the dwarves of Kulmara.
Wait, what about the dwarves? Mara?
You see a little glow in his eyes. Bing! You're like, how does he know that? But yeah.
Right.
A tough cookie. I like this one. And he points over to Divot. He's like, walks over. Divot, you see, just starts kind of like playing with your skeleton fingertips, like trying to figure out what the hell you are. He's like, strange, yes. Let's see.
So,
Weird.
are we like, are we resting right now?
Yeah, you're short resting. It's
okay,
like,
okay.
Tynna's got some food. There's this weird goblin doing things.
Yeah, come and
So
get
while
it. It's all good.
everybody's eating, I'd like to, I'm like vibing with Boxo, and I remember that I have a little stash of Treant liquor.
Yes.
And do I have enough to share a little?
Heck yeah, you do. In this
Definitely do
nice
for
little
me.
moment. The legendary Treant liquor that you kind of managed to pull out of that weird fleshy sack inside of Knobneck. You kind of pull out the potion bottle that you'd put it in, kind of swirl it around. You see him like up, and then his little like monocle moves first, then his little head, and he's just like, oh yeah. And he's smelling the air. He's like, the tree people drink. Well, and then he's like, if you're so kind to me, and you see he like reaches in, and as he opens his little like the cloak that's hanging down, you just see there's like a bunch of sundials. Like there's just like a ton on the inside as he like looks underneath and he's like reaching inside and he's like, useless, throws one, it kind of bounces on the ground. He's like reaching inside and then he pulls out this like beautiful silver, almost mithril in appearance bottle. And Divot, you know it in a minute. It's this legendary gnome wine. And you grew up, your father would let you have small sips, after your days of hard labor working in the labor camps in your city. And so yeah, you see the bottle and it's like that thing your dad had that you weren't allowed to touch, and now you see it somewhere else, and you're just like, he pulls it out and he's like, a drink for a drink, good man. And he just pulls out some little flask or some little like goblet, pours it in and hands it to you.
Can you do the bread trick on that booze? You saw you turn like one loaf of the bread into like 5. Can you do that with the other?
He's like, would you like a drink, Stone Man? And he looks over at you, he still like really wants to get a chuckle out of you. And he's like, perhaps a little liquor might make you think quicker. And he reaches into his little bag and he pulls out some dwarven stout. Like just from like the Kulmara distillery. You're like, wait, I think I might even know that bottle. It's aged from its travel. It's got a little smudge on the outside, but you look on the inside and there's that good mother's milk, that strong, powerful dwarven stout. He pulls out the bottom half of a skull and like pours some of it in it and then hands you the skull.
Like,
When was the last time you had a head change, brother? Let's go.
Cheers! You see he offers a cheers to
great,
both
yeah.
of you, takes both bottles at the same time, and slugs them to match.
just like Mom used to make.
Cool. And I like go toe for toe with him with the Treant liqueur.
All right, you want
as
to like
well.
polish it off? You want to like, all right, let's see.
I mean, how much is there?
It's like a potion. We weren't treating it like a magic potion or anything. It was just like,
Cool.
that's about how much you had, and it is a very fine alcohol. And so it certainly tickles his fancy in this moment. You see him just like all too eager to match and show you guys some of the fanciful drinks that he has. He
Shots.
I'll go splitsies on it with him, but I want some too.
okay, yeah. So yeah, again, you guys are kind of like, this is like a little strange ruckus full of a short rest, but you're all just kind of like, it is nice to like not be dying for a sec, that cool breeze of the mountain road, that smell of cinnamon in the air, this fun, whimsical little man, being close to Ubaru again. There is just this like, a piece to this strange after the storm moment that is kind of comforting. You know, at any point, if you like start to think about weird bad things, you look over and Boxo's doing something ridiculous, and you know, he's always like working on juggling or he's doing some feat of like a handstand or you know trying to jump around. You see the one, you know, the pair of wings on his ankle flapping all by itself, almost like pulling him around a little bit at some times. But yeah, you guys are short resting right now too. So all that, if you have any hit dice that you want to use, Tynna, remember your necklace, which is pretty dope. It gives you a bonus on your hit dice healing. Ubaru straight hooked you up, girl. That's a sweet item.
Yeah. Well, I noticed all the commotion, and I kind of I saddle up near the mole eggs, and I don't even bother like trying to slice the bread. I just like grab off a huge chunk, and I just kind of sit and enjoy the wonderment and bounty of life around me while I regain my own.
Yeah, that nature connecting, you know, like you're more in tune with nature than you ever have been, and those few moments where you were ripped away from it really makes you value even the simple leaves, you know, bustling in the trees, and even if they're filled with goblins. But yeah, anybody, like, what do you guys want to do for this little short rest? You have Ubaru's there, Boxo's there, you're all, each other are there. You guys, this is like kind of like a nice down moment. You know, some pretty big stuff has kind of happened along the way, so whatever you guys want to flesh out.
So I want to walk up to Tynna, like, while everyone's kind of still around and say, so, like, sorry you and your brother had to kill your girlfriend.
Thanks. That means a lot. I don't know. Them's the breaks, right?
Yeah, I guess that's kind of what happens.
Yeah. Did you get some mole eggs?
Is that what happens?
Huh?
A Tyrannosaurus eats your ex.
I'm gonna say that was a new one for me.
That whole chestnut.
Yeah.
But it is like the third time I've heard of that happening, so she is totally correct.
Yeah, I guess I am underselling it. It doesn't happen as much as you think it does.
Yeah, Tynna, you still have your, you know, the little bit of your necklace on her legs that are just lying kind of unceremoniously in the road.
So what made you able to do it? How could you? What made you able to kill her? Bruenor was on a ridge. Just no clue what the fuck.
Yeah. She wasn't her anymore, you know? And I had to put her out of her misery, I guess.
She was Sisyphus.
What?
Yeah.
What?
I mean, like a little bit.
She was Sisyphus.
Shish a fish.
She was suspicious fish.
Suspicious.
Suspicious fish.
Suspicious. I can't.
Well, she's dead now, so.
Well, no.
That perks my ears though. I'm like, she was who? She was synthesis?
Yes.
Yeah.
I looked
That
into
one.
her eyes and I knew she wasn't herself anymore. She had been totally overcome by synthesis.
Damn.
He who should not.
I too
know.
got that vibe.
You did.
Damn. And then you ate her. You straight up ate her.
Why you gotta bring up old shit?
I'm just saying that I'm just unpacking what the fuck happened.
So long.
Like,
So
you guys, it was,
I mean,
like,
is
what
that
the fuck?
me?
There was like Glorp, and then he was asking us questions, and then we had dwarves, and then Bruenor has one of her like, you know, meltdowns like she did after the
Start kicking the dead
DM
body.
dragged her, so she's like,
Man,
fuck it.
while she's having a breakdown, I'm like thinking to myself about the names that I heard earlier, and I'm like, Exonius,
Bruenor.
Shalefish, Exonius, Shalefish.
What?
Ah,
shellfish?
Shellfish.
Huh?
Yo,
is
sir,
there a
how dare you.
selfish, erroneous?
No,
Ah,
you said Exonius. What do you know? What do you know about Exonius?
Or the shale fist.
I don't know how to explain it, so just trust me. I can sense the touch of Sisyphus. And Mithra was infected. And I feel a strange connection to the name Exonius and the name Shellfish?
Fist, maybe? Is that it?
Fist of shells?
Right, I cast Fist on Shale.
This must be the sign.
Does this ring bells?
Yes, this must
Yeah.
be the time, because I've told you this kind of before, but I'm from the kingdom of Elmira, and it was completely burned to the ground by Exonius. And if you're telling me that Exonius this entire time has been attached to Sisyphus at some point.
It seems the 5 fingers of the high five that is the Ferocious Five are more linked than we knew. We truly are a fist.
We have a hand in our own fates.
A smooth hand.
Thoricus,
What? Sorry.
what does shellfish mean to you?
Nothing. It doesn't mean anything. It's in the past and it doesn't matter.
I send him a mental message like, bullshit!
You turn this shit off too.
I will not.
It doesn't mean anything. It's fine. Okay? It's just someone from my past and whatever. I can't go back to my hometown.
Thoricus, too.
Yeah, you're convincing us that it's fine.
That
You're
doesn't
doing a
make
good
me
job.
more curious or anything. Jesus.
Yeah, great job. You're doing so good right now.
Tell us who Shellfist is so I don't have to tell everyone that the luck blade's gone. Come on.
What?
Wait,
Damn
what?
What?
Wait, no, we already knew that. We already knew that. I'm not gonna get pissed about that again.
I'm just trying to get you to open
But
up.
it is something to be worried about, though. I mean,
Oh yeah, no, I'm really worried
with
about
the
it.
luck blade is catastrophe.
What?
There's a lot happening right now. I think the last thing that
I'm
we need
still
to focus
processing.
on is Shalefist.
Father!
I mean, this Exonius thing sounds pretty terrible. Why don't we just focus on that?
Yeah, okay, yeah, you definitely convinced us just now to talk about who Shellfist is, I swear to God!
And then Bruenor just like walks over and just starts shaking Thoricus.
Tell me!
Oh God!
Tell me your feelings!
Look,
Yeah, I also start shaking him.
Yes.
I go over and I just kind of like wrap my arms around everybody and try to make it a group hug.
Like you guys did in the Plane of Sorrow, and you're like, come on, Thoricus, yeah.
Bony hands.
there's too many feelings going on here. I'm gonna go throw up. No, I'm not. That was a delicious breakfast. I am not gonna go throw that up.
Keeping that.
That mole egg McStuffin you made was fantastic.
Thanks, yeah.
I don't want to get sappy, but I've been drinking. I can't even. Trance. La-da-dee-da-da-da.
La da da da. Box those things to match.
Oh God. All right,
This
so
guy gets it.
Shellfist is
He's super drunk
just a
too.
guy from my past. He was always around. We grew up in the dwarfenage together, and what?
Did you say dwarfenage?
And then,
Whoa, okay.
In your diary.
I'm so sorry.
Today.
Is that in like Merriam-Webster?
yeah.
Oh my god. Oh God, I'm so sorry.
It's like a halfway house for wayward dwarves.
Sure is.
Oh no, I got it.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense.
Oh,
A
shit.
dwarf, right? And then
Okay, so Shalefist was the
He-
dwarf that.
we grew up there, and we'd get in trouble together, and we were friends, and we always competed with each other for everything. I mean, food and attention, and dwarfenage rights. We grew up together, and we've just always gone against. I mean, shit. Even when we went out for the Stone Reavers, we were going out for the same position. He kept fighting me for the Stone Sergeant Major position, which is second in command. But of course, Papa got that one, and he hated me for it. He's always hated me. I've always looked out for him, but he just always wants to be better for me, or better than me, I guess. It's not important, guys. It's not a big deal. He just, took Lucille away from me, and that's, he spread the rumors about me killing my father figure, Beckus. And
I'm seriously moved
That
by
sounds
this,
like a
and
big
I start
deal.
Excuse me?
writing something about what he's saying. I'm like, lost.
it happens.
Lost.
Let's hurt.
Sometimes girlfriends get eaten by Tyrannosaurus Rexes, and sometimes your best friend turns on you, steals your girlfriend, gets you banished, and blames your father's death on you. These things happen, guys.
Stems break sometimes, but it's okay to talk about it, Thoricus.
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm so sorry, best friend. I would never. Where's Shelfist?
So yes.
That's a question for Divot, I think. I don't need to know that.
I mean, I could tell us which direction, I guess.
I'm getting a little hype. I apologize, my friends. I'm sorry.
But
There's
I don't know.
Oh no,
What was that?
he's too powerful. We couldn't hear you, Div.
So, just to come clean to both of you, because I know it's very close to your hearts, I will tell you that I know not exactly where, but whereabouts those beings are.
You feel like faint heartbeats miles away. You tune into the frequency of the Shale Fist, the name that echoed at you through the darkness, Divot, and you kind of feel that heartbeat beating also from the chest of Rial, and you have to kind of dwarf the sound of your friend and ally whose life begs for you to smother it, at the very core of what you are in this moment. But you can hush it, and you pick up, these beating heartbeats around the world in various locations. The one that echoes to you is the Shale Fist. Perhaps beats the closest near the area where the city of Nambuldir is to the north. The other beats extremely far to the west, almost deep within the ocean itself that borders where the oceans of the Shattered Isles. Now, Bruenor, you know this location specifically. It is the fallen city of Elmira that apparently Exonius still holds on to.
Yeah, I knew exactly where it was, but I've been trying so hard to forget in an effort to get better.
So,
Yeah, I deal with my shit really well, so I don't know why you're having such a hard time with it.
So I say to Thoricus that his old friend foe is closer than he may think, and to Bruenor I say, and Exonius is exactly where you know him to be.
Do you talk like this now?
Oh, hey. Yeah, so Exonius is exactly where you left him, I think. Am I not
Yeah.
supposed to talk about that? I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine. It's where you. It's exactly where I left him. But I think that this is a sign, right? Like, I had to leave, and then I had to get better and stronger because Exonius was so damn strong that I got as strong as I could, but I didn't do it alone. And so, not right now at this moment, but this is my sign that at some point, like, I'm gonna be ready for this. And then I look over at Thoricus and I go, no, because your son of a bitch is way closer. Do you think you're ready for this? And I like flex him. Because I'm trying to make him laugh because Boxo couldn't.
You gonna flex? You gonna flex on Papa?
Flex and
Even on these.
on it. Just flex.
Boxo like, whoop, 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 whoop.
Let's get that way to stop. Look, you guys want to go fuck this guy up? It's fine. I don't need to do that. I've moved on. I've met the best people I know, and we do awesome shit all the time.
We don't need to go fuck up your old buddy from the block if you don't want to, my guy.
I really want to.
No,
it's
right? Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
I just thought that he was. I thought maybe he got amoebic dysentery or piles and just kind of wiped off the face of the planet on his own. But I mean, we can do whatever.
I'm gonna put up I support my best friend and everything, and I really want to kick this guy's ass who fucked with my best friend. But before all this went down, we were talking about a dragon's horde, which we suspected was by Malachite Mountains. We're very close to that. We can do that first. Kick the ass of Thoricus's horrible best friend.
They
That's
just
the
swing
form of
around
my
and get back to Elmira and fuck some
It's all
shadow
kind of
dragons
a-
up. I like your style.
That sounds really good to me. And
You
I
got
think
boxed, dude.
the faster we can work, the better, because the more time Shren has with the luck blade, the more worried.
And
Can
if
we-
we're gonna hit a dragon's horde, there's sure to be treasure.
Yeah.
And dragons.
I don't
And
know.
I'd like to have something. The only thing I know that Shren likes is treasure. So if we had something to barter for this luck blade, I think we might be better off.
Can we ask Boxo if he knows anything about like any kind of secret
So, Divot, you
passage?
look over at Boxo, who feels a little left out of this emotional conversation you guys are having, and you see he's kind of looking down at his feet, and he's like, I know where the dragon lived, but nobody ever wants to ask Boxo anything. He's just a silly little goblin. Oh, no. Oh, now you want to know. And he turns around. He's like, of course I know where the dragon horde is, you silly fools. I am Boxo. I know everything within exactly 3.3 miles of this location, and not too much more.
3.3 miles?
Oh,
The whole time.
That is oddly specific.
very specific.
He says it with pride. But little less after that. You see, he looks at you, and he's like, the dragon Harnacks. I paid a visit to the city of Emerella recently. Looks a bit changed from the last time. I think you'll like the changes. And then he sort of like points over, and he's like, the skeleton of the dragon you slayed is what drew me in. A placard in your honor made by the villagers. The Five, they say, smited this dragon Harnacks on this day of spring. The church nearby now reeks of Tynna's smooth hands. But they had mentioned that Harnacks fell. Now, I am no warrior, adventure, provocateur, perhaps, but I do know where the lair is. You see his wide mouth kind of smiles and his sharp, pointy teeth look at you. And he's like, and you could do me a favor at the same time.
What can we do for you, Boxo?
He takes his little, his little jingly fingers, hands, and he points over at the cave. You know, the cave that Mithra had actually walked out of after you just realized her illusion that she was casting on you. Surrounded with these blue, purple, and orange flowers, these strange jade vines that kind of grow around it. He says, that cave used to lead to the areas right around where those old dragons would play their silly games with their kobolds. Ugh! And you hear like a bunch of like, ugh! From the trees. Apparently these goblins think kobolds are disgusting. And you're just like, ah! A couple spits come out of the tree, like, oh, he said it. Oh, God, it gets stuck in your throat. Kobold. And he's like, oh, those silly kobolds. He's like, but the cave sings a different song these days. Listen! And he pulls this little tiny horn out. Bink! And he sticks it in his ear. See, it's singing a different song, right? Right.
Can I hear the song that he's... Can we hear the song?
He comes up and he hands you the horn, Tynna, and you're like, and he's like, go on. And you put it into your ear, and you're listening to the cave. And you do hear this faint, soft, delicate woman's voice. Just kind of hanging through, like echoing through the cave a little bit. There does seem to be a melody to it of sorts. Now, you're not picking up quite on what he's laying down, so to speak, but you do, your bare ear did not hear, you do detect through this horn that he hands you.
Okay, I give him the little horn back. What's the catch?
I sent 5 goblins into that cave. I've yet to see them return. That doesn't bode well. See, he looks, he's like, strange magics. I saw a goblin standing in front of this cage. Allow me! And then you hear all the rustling of the leaves, and he runs over, and you see he grabs a couple of hats, and he's like, and he puts one hat on. He's like, I was walking by the cave one day. And then he puts another hat on, and he's like, and I saw this strange green goblin with shimmering skin. He shot a bolt of magic from his fingers. Psst. Goblins don't know magic. He then retreated into that cave, and he points at it. His eyes glow wide. He takes his little monocle out, and he kind of fixes on it. Things are changing around here. Boxo knows everything within 3.3 miles of this exact spot, and I don't know what's going on in my own cave. Now, it will cut you beyond the green barriers of those druids at the top of the mountain. And that is where you will find the den of Harnacks, a scary place, a dangerous place, full of, and he pulls out a bunch of bones that are on strings, and he's like, scary, bony creatures of magic, a dead dragon given life. Reminds me of your T-Rex, Divot. But yes, please, find my goblins. Bring them back to me. Find the den. Do what you will. Tell Boxo perhaps what you found, and maybe I will write a song. But what you seek, he points down, is down that cave.
Well, Boxo, you said that you sent 5 goblins. Where are the 5?
Jingle, jangle, jingle, bangle, bangle. You hear all the jinglies on as many rings as he counts them out. Yes, 5 there were. I heard a scream, I thought, one night, but it was not that of a goblin, but a woman. Perhaps the singer of the song. He just kind of looks longingly at the cave. Boxo doesn't like change very much, but he does respect, and he looks at you, Divot, an entertainer. And he bows, and, once more as he has to you before, remembering trying to match your spinning cannonball trick that you pulled that he, unfortunately, was not able to do. And he says, but Boxo grows stronger every day, and is not the goblin you thought you once knew. And he jumps into the air, and he's gonna try...
Oh, jeez.
He's gonna try your spin, Divot. Yeah, 22. So Divot, you see he lands it. He jumps into the air, and he gets about 5 feet in the air, and you see the little wings on one of the feet go, and they bat really fast, and he goes, and spins 5 times, and lands on his feet.
All right, so it's like a game of horse. He did just, in fact, meet the bar and impress me even a little bit. So I have to at least match that. And I look at Thoricus, and I don't even wait for his consent. I just start running at him, and I'm gonna use him as a springboard to try to do like that with a McTwist. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Go ahead and give me a performance check. And Divot, I believe you have advantage from your Hat of the Jester.
All
Or the Hat of the
right.
Harlequin.
Oh, good.
Ooh, you needed the advantage. So Divot, you pull it off, but you don't quite stick the landing. You know, it's a little. You feel the rush. You know that another good performer's in the room. You want to show up your best. It's like when you practice something at home and you're amazing, and then you go to show it to your friend and you like drop everything. You know, you just can't do it. So there's a little bit of that. The rush, the thrill of being once more. Encountering another performer. You oversell. The spin is great, but you do land the landing a little rusty. You look over at Boxo. He's still impressed, nevertheless. He's gonna attempt it as well. Also sprinting at you, Thoricus.
Oh.
So you see after Divot jumps off you, you're like, what the? Yes. And then this little goblin's like, ah! And he, here we go, is going to make a performance check as well. Divot, he biffs the landing entirely. So you see he's like, ah! And he jumps in the air and he spins several times. And then rather than his feet landing, he's like at the top part of the spin, and his head just kind of like, and he slides, and he's in a little bit of pain. And then he looks up at Thoricus, and he's like, I got you!
Get in there! Yeah, you got me.
You son of a bitch.
You tricky son of a bitch.
He seems oh so pleased with himself. Once I saw you start laughing.
I was muted, so yeah. Sorry, I'm not good at hiding my tells.
All right. So, you know, it seems that the impasse has once again, you know, Divot, you just, you know, game respect game. What a silly little zany character this Boxo is. But you know, you guys are still kind of aware of this ever-present like force around you. I don't want to oversell. It's not like you're surrounded by thousands of goblins. You did hear thousands of chitters of laughter, you know, echoing off the canyons and stuff. But again, it's like there is just this kind of vibe that like maybe at Boxo's whim, they kind of listen to this guy. So, you know, there's like, you guys are kind of like doing your best to be diplomatic in a sense with kind of somebody that doesn't seem to have any sense, reason, or course. But he does really want the 5 goblins that he sent into that cave back. He seems very protective of them. In fact, that's a quality that is in counter to everything that you've known about goblins. You know, it's like you've heard they eat their wounded and, you know, and stuff. And so this compassion from this goblin is something different. Like, it seems like he genuinely is concerned for them, but not so concerned as to put his own ass on the line and go in there and get them.
Are we like, okay, team, are we down to go that route?
I'm down.
Yeah, let's
Sure.
go pick up his garbage. It's fine.
I do want to approach Boxo because, man, everything he's given us in these hard times. Having a little levity is great.
Yeah, he's so. I love him. I'm sorry.
And he did route us to the Horde of Harnacks. We know his name now. Harnacks the dragon.
The dragon Harnacks.
I knew that before. But he did say that it would get us past the Emerald Dome of Magic?
True indeed. The dome cuts off the land of the mountain, but go underneath, the magic is not there. So yeah, you guys, just to kind of like clarify things in a map sense, your original plan was to go around kind of where Nombuldir was and go up the north face of the mountain, which is how you get to the top. Now the top of that mountain range is now covered in this green magic dome that emanates from the top, where you guys were originally going to meet the Great Circle of Druids. So what he's saying is this cave will actually take you through the Malachite Mountains and pop you out up inside where the Dome of Magic is, where the den of Harnacks the dragon was. Now he did also seem to mention that there was like walking skeletons and like like that kind of thing. So it was like he did make it seem a little like a dreary, scary place. There's probably a reason Boxo hasn't gone inside, if you catch my drift.
We have a Tynna. We're good.
But yeah, you don't know.
We
Remember,
have a walking
Harnacks
skeleton.
was like a younger
Yeah.
We
dragon.
also do have one of those.
And Boxo wants his friends back. We're bestowed enough where even with the most dire of straits, Tynna almost died like 10 times, what the fuck? We're all still together, and Boxo wants his friends. But just to give him stakes, because he did offer the location of Harnax's lair, he gets my share, but I get to pick one item. I can pull one item of my share from the hoard, but he gets the rest of my pick.
Okay, yeah, no, okay. You see he perks up. Ah, Boxo is a businessman, you see, Real Othravan. He kind of looks down, he pulls out this little scroll and just procures, like, he just reaches in behind his cloak, pulls out a quill, kind of daps into one of the sundials, which also happens to have some ink in it for some reason. Tick, 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 tick. He picks on it and he starts writing down in the quill. He's like, it sounds like you would like to make a business arrangement with the great merchant Boxo. He's like, bring me the share of it, and he writes it all down. He's like, and I will also throw in, to sweeten this bargain, one favor of Boxo's goblin folk. And you see he says, call upon us when you need, and we will be there, Othravan. And he signs this little scroll, and he hands it out to you to sign it, if you want to.
Noted. I sign it and then shake his little goblin hand.
You feel
even
his
if it's
sharp
like gross.
fingertips, just
shake
little
it.
jangly hands and bells. Ah, yes, a deal, and a deal is a meal. And he slides it into his belt. All right, so the sheer D&D of it all. Remember, any short rest abilities that you guys have, you're going to get back. Did anybody want to do... it looks like some of you guys did hit dice and stuff, so have you guys taken care of all that?
I did not. I totally forgot.
Oh,
I was so...
No, this is a good time to do it. Like I said, we kind of mixed it into the narrative a bit there a little bit. You guys are chomping on some mole eggs, having a little bread, chatting over these like crazy things. And
I'm gonna pick up my axe, my hand axes, and like shake off the blood from the one that went into the mage.
This is fair too. Boxo is a merchant, guys, and so I know like you haven't had the benefit of being in like a city or anything. Just to kind of facilitate the ease. I'm like, Boxo literally is like, that's what he does. He's like a little bit of like a Robin Hood, like he kind of robs people on this area, but he's also like a kind of a merchant, and he seems to have like considered this his territory, specifically 3.3 miles from this spot is like where this is his little piece of the world that he's carving out for himself. The goblins that follow him for some reason, it's like there's a little bit to this little strange guy, but yeah. So I mean, if you guys now would incur a favor from his people, and
all right, so like, what you got in that bag, little man?
So basically, we're gonna do just basic like player's handbook items. If you guys, he does have healing potions, so if you guys want to buy some, they're 50 gold pieces. I'm not gonna go insane there. He would probably have like 10 of them though, to be fair. He also they're 50 gold a piece. He's a merchant. He expects coin. And yeah, but if you want, he's got healing potions. He's got any of the basic shop stuff from the PHB, rope, pittons, stuff like that, caltrops and ball bearings and stuff like that. He would have all that. He's even got things like the harder to find spyglass and things like that. Like he's got pretty good stuff. He's got like a strange assortment of many things. You realize that every time you mention buying one thing, he's interested in also selling you one of his many sundials. And he just, he's like, I have them in many colors. They will always tell you the correct time every time.
So I act like I'm actually interested in the sundial, but I want some healing potions.
Sweet.
So I'm like, all right, so what do you want for the sundial, though?
I would throw it in for a mere 1 gold piece. You look at it, it's literally like a carved block of wood.
All right. So I'm like, all right. Let me get 6 sundials. 1 for the whole gang.
He's jubilant.
But
yes!
you gotta give me 6 for 5 on that, my man.
6 for 5, of course. What kind of businessman would I be? And he just kind of starts shifting them off. You see, he's probably got 100 of them, and he pulls like a scoop of 6 of them out in whatever color you would like. So whatever color sundial you guys would like to have, you now get.
Sick. And I want 2 healing potions, and throw in like a little bag of grass if you got it.
Little pinchy of out of the sack, which is running a little low these days, Divot. You know, you haven't
put it on the tab.
Yeah,
I got you.
He sees like and puts it in a special pocket. I have one of those as well. It's this one down here. You guys can't see it, so it could be anything. I'm not wearing pants. It's a lie. So yeah, you it's like I said, 50 gold a pop. And then plus 5 gold for your sundial.
Yeah, I look at Boxer here, and I've never seen a goblin like this before. Certainly as familial and like larger, self-oriented. So I instantly trust him. Those are some mighty fine sundials, Boxer. Do you have any green ones?
Oh, do I have any green ones? Oh, do I have any green ones? And then he starts stumbling through. You see, he like pulls out. He's like. Pulls out another one. It's like an off yellow. He's like, crap. He reaches around. Finally, yes, he does procure a green sundial for you.
All right, perfect. I believe Divot already paid.
Yes, of course, covered by the fine gentleman with the scary mask.
Okay, well, do you have any in like a gold color? I might, what happens if I lose this one,
You're right, you should always have 2. What if one breaks down? And he reaches into the back, and he procures a little golden one for you.
Cool. So I dual wield my sundials, and
I don't know what time it is.
Always. I probably should pick up a couple restorative items. 2 Boxo. Could I grab 2 healing potions?
Those 100 gold pieces, my lady. I would offer you a discount, but trying times indeed,
I understand. Fine businessman, and we'll get those goblins back for you. And then I kind of do like a power fist with him.
Yes. So you guys, these are the basic healing potions. They're 2d4 plus 2, just so you know. Now, this is definitely a homebrew. It takes a full action to take a potion. I've never liked that. It's a bonus action to drink a potion. Now, it is an action if you're trying to administer a potion to someone else. All right, so it's like for you in the heat of battle, it could be like, but if you're trying to be like, let me open your mouth and like pour a healing potion on you, or whatever, is when it would take the action. A little bit of homebrew. I like being able to use potions and not lose an action, especially in a shorter format combat sequence. So just so you know, that's how those would work. They're 2d4 plus 2. Anybody else? Any of the stuff from Boxo? He has all kinds of strange little trinkets, odds and ends. As well as, like I said, kind of the standard equipment, if there was anything you guys needed, or more healing potions. You've bought what? How many? 6?
I bought 2.
I look at my vest and I'm like, do you have any eye drops?
Oh, that got me. Yeah, of course he does. He's like, oh, what kind of goblin would I be? And you're like, that doesn't even make sense. And he pulls out this little vial of, indeed, eye drops.
Wow.
Excellent.
Wow. And then you're like, and all. You see everything a little clearer. You're like, oh, this is 360-degree vision. It's cool.
Hey, Boxer.
Yes, my liege. And he bows.
Awesome. Do you have a sundial that does anything cool like the one that you got the ink out of? When you dabbled that ink. I was watching you. I watched
My ink dial, an invention of my own brilliant mind. And they say goblins never created anything, and he's a little mad by that. And then he pulls the top of the sundial, and there's it's like a little, Bruenor, you're like looking at it, you're like, oh, it's like a container inside of a sundial. You know, it's like one more pocket for Bruenor. You can put things in it. Things.
Things and stuff.
So yeah, basically it's a hollowed out sundial. So you could stash something in this sundial. It's a stash dial. A sun
Excellent. So that I will take. Thank you so much for that. And I immediately put it on. I'm like, excellent. Also, I would like 2 healing potions, please.
100 gold, please. And he does a little dance, da da da. And as you hand him gold pieces, he's trying to juggle them. But again, he can't do 5. So once he gets to 5, he just catches them, puts them in the pouch, and starts juggling another 4.
Also, do you have anything that would be cool for my Bryman? Do you have some salts, some very awesome salts that I could do a scrub on them real quick?
Let's see, the seawater. And he kind of holds his hand out. And again, from a bustling tree, you just see this vial, or this jar, kind of like the size jar that you have in real life, Brent. Yeah, this comes falling at you. Glunk, and you catch it. And it's full of the salt water. She's like, yes, from the Dead Sea itself. Very salty and smooth. And he kind of cracks the top of it, and you smell. It's like you're standing on the beach. You're like, oh, and you close it because you don't want to let all of it out. You know, you're like, oh gosh, yeah. It's just it reminds you of the sweet ocean from whence you came. I'll throw it in, my lady, with the potions.
Excellent. And then Bruenor kind of scurries off and then immediately starts putting up on the Bryman. I'm going to do assault while we're doing our little short
assaulting
rest
for
all the stuff.
Bry. Yeah,
I'm going to assault that boy.
Yeah, again, his dry skin, it gets a little thick, and he hasn't been quite as thick and wiggly as he usually was. He's been getting a little stiff. So you work the grooves in his thick, massive Dracodile body, and you see, he goes puppy dog-eyed while you just give him the old salt treatment. Now, I just wanted to be clear. Divot, how many healing potions did you buy? 2? Okay, cool. So there's 4 left in his little shop.
How much did those go for? 100 or?
Yeah, 50 gold a piece, sir.
50 gold. Do you have any short bows?
Do I?
Expansive inventory.
Do I?
Shit.
You see, looks back. He pulls out a crossbow. He's like, I was so close. Sticks it back. He looks over at Thoricus. Didn't get him. Finally reaches back. Yeah, he's got a short bow. It is, I believe it's 10 gold. Is that right? Maybe it's 5. Short bow. And this is when Brandon just Googles it on the internet. What a powerful device.
Oh, beautiful.
Look at how that works.
Oh, maybe it's 25 gold. Yeah, 25 gold for a short bow.
I check another website, get a second opinion.
Maybe they'll price match.
Shout out D&D Beyond. Thanks for easily giving me
Boxo, do you do price match?
Yeah, I got that stimmy. He's good.
I checked on Wish, and I could get these a little cheaper, but a lot.
A little bit cheaper there, Box.
Pretty much the same thing.
I just asked Ubaru, and he said he would go down in price, so just...
We're looking at Ubaru rates. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it seems Ubaru only, he spent his lone healing potion to revive the dear Tynna. But yes, 25 gold. Like I said, pretty straight across with this guy. He's not trying to gouge you guys. He charges you the stock. You see, he takes a little pride in that. He's like, I am the most honest business goblin you will ever meet.
He really is. God damn it.
Oh,
God bless Boxo. Man, we were just waiting to see Boxo again, and he comes in clutch. Comes in fucking clutch.
Who doesn't love? Yeah, man, Boxo. Come on.
But yes, I respect this goblin. We have a deal. He knows he's gonna get a lot of my treasure, so I would like a short bow and then 2 healing potions.
All right, 125 gold, Real. You see again as he's taking the coins. You see this time rather than, you see his pouch itself is pretty full at this point. He likes trying to stuff a couple coins in it, but it's too full. And he just starts throwing coins into the trees. And they don't fall out of the trees, so something is catching them. And he just kind of like throwing seed to the chickens. He's just tossing coins into the trees around him.
Can I compare sacks with him? I've got the Krampus sack now. I'm curious. He's got something similar. Like, can we just
Yeah, you see he's like,
sack up?
He's looking at the sack that you have, and he's like, pulls the monocle out, and he's like, oh my. Oh, very powerful fey magic there. May I? And you see he's like taking his hand, and he wants to like reach in.
Hang on. Wait. Just be cool there. What are you curious about the sack? If you get a little too eager, it might. It's got a habit of like sucking you in. So
you see his little face just filled. He's like, oh my. Oh, wait. And he takes like 2 steps back, grabs one of the gold coins you just gave him, and he ping flips it into the opening. It disappears inside. You get one of your gold back, Rial. He's like, oh my, what a lovely little bag you have there. Oh, and he's just like, he loves it. He loves your bag, Rial.
The dick's not bad either.
okay.
He loves your sack, bro. He's huge on your sack.
That's good. I just wanted to
There
do
he
a little
is.
sack check. It's
Yeah,
okay.
he's
Sack
man.
check can't
Game,
hurt.
like I said, game respects game, bro. He's been out sacked by you. You know, whereas his sack is full of coin and can have no more pressed into it, so he has to share a little with his boys. Yours, it seems, would be able to consume all of the coins.
He's got a dope sack, but and again, we've made a deal, so we'll reconvene later if we can get his goblins back, and maybe we can do another sack check. So just to let him know.
To not do so would be sacrilege.
You see, he's like, it is such a privilege to see such a magic item such as this. And you see he kind of looks around knowingly with his monocle, and you see he focuses kind of on each one of your, like, extremely powerful relics that you now have, you know, your legacy relics. And he's just like, you can watch it just float around from one, just like, oh, that shield is quite nice. What a blade on your shoulders. And he just kind of goes over all of you. And then you see he just, like, with Divot, rather than looking at one spot, he just kind of looks at his whole body. You see him kind of like, oh my, what is this? Oh, whoa. And he seems truly perplexed, as most of you are, as to what the fuck is Divot?
I do have one last little thing though, because I bought this short bow.
Yeah.
I want to give Daughter of Ash to Bruenor. We keep talking about. I've heard her say it like under her breath, like, man, I wish I had a bow. So I will keep the new short bow for myself, but present Daughter of Ash to Bruenor.
Wow.
Wow.
What
Wow.
you for me?
But
But for me,
And so just like every other time someone has given Bruenor a very prestigious gift, it's like as if there's like nothing she can do. She like very slowly and like with panic in her own eyes, like this is happening, and like leans forward and kisses Rial on the forehead.
Her eyes never
And
blink.
then it like never, she's so like, fuck shit, okay, here we go. Smooch. And then she leans back and she just like stands there.
everyone's eyes were open.
Awkward.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I will treat this with honor and respect. And then
May you deliver the best murder from afar.
Yeah.
Shaw.
Bruenor no longer contained by the limited range of your throwing axes. You know, you get a couple arrows. You see Boxo, he throws a couple arrows in with the bow itself. Like, come on. And he's like, here you go. Gives you like 20 arrows. So yeah, now you have the Daughter of Ash. You know, this carved ashwood bow that Rial has used for some time. He now gifts you. And so yeah, you'll now be able to utilize that. Just so you know, the range on that, if it's within 80. That's the good range. After between 80 and 320, is where you get disadvantage. Beyond 320, you cannot hit. That's how the range bracket works on that specific bow.
Damn.
Or wait, was Donner Ash a long bow or a short bow?
It was a short bow.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So 80, 320 is the range.
Do I have any like intel on what wood this new bow is?
Yeah, again, you're like, most people are just like, yeah, it's bow wood. You kind of look, you're like, I can tell this region. It actually seems like it was crafted by the woods near Cain Thalas. You're like, oh, these are the birchwood trees that they drop these birch nuts all throughout the winter season or the fall seasons that people nourish themselves with over harsh winters. And so you're like, yes, the birchwood. It has a little warmth to you. It was one of the giving trees of your environment. You remember perhaps early in your time there reading a book under a birch tree at one time when you were still allowed outside.
Maybe I can get familiar. She's my main birch. My main birch.
That's my birch right there.
Yeah, you did.
My birch.
All right, yeah. Any other purchases or anything anybody wants to make from old Boxo?
I did have a question as far as I don't know why I can't remember.
All right. Don't throw at me.
How many hit dice can I use?
So you can use as many hit dice as you want, but when you long rest, you get half of your max back. So it's like you don't always top off on them every time you long rest. Right. Yes, but you can use as many at one time as you would like. You do get to add, I think if you're using the actual hit dice thing, let me see here. Yeah, it's doing it for you. If you actually do the hit dice button on your character sheet, it's also adding your Constitution modifier. So Divot got it. He rolled a hot 1 there and got 2. But yeah, there you go. So yeah, you can top yourself off. Just do keep track of your hit dice on your character sheet there. Ooh, yeah. It's
3 9s in a row. So yeah, I'm gonna take that.
Yeah, you have a +3 too, so 3 6s is pretty better than average. Yeah, anybody else? Any hit dice? Just remember, I think your second wind is a short rest ability. Divot your warlock spells. Refreshing.
Hit dice reset at that long rest, right?
No, you get half of your hit dice back every long rest. So it would be if you have a total of 10, you would get 5 back every long rest.
Okay.
So yeah, if you were below that half threshold, you still might be missing a few.
Mm-hmm. And we can only roll 1 hit dice now?
You can roll as many as you want at a time. Yeah, during a short rest mechanic, you can just boop, 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 boop. So just so you know a little bit, 5th edition, hit dice is kind of their answer to every team needs a cleric. And it's well, no, not really. If you want to play a party with 4 fighters or a bunch of rogues or a bard that you're all a band and you travel the world together, you could do all of that stuff. Supposedly you don't need a healer in 5th edition. Now, granted, it certainly comes in handy a lot, as you guys saw through that last battle. So maybe that's not entirely true, but that is kind of the way the game is. You don't have to have a healer with you. You can short rest and take these little hit dice. It's another resource that you expend to continue adventuring.
Cool. Thank you for clarifying that.
I got you.
I have a similar question. Just as far as spell slots go.
Mm-hmm.
What does a short rest do for that? I'm sorry, because that's a really
actually, yeah, for your kind of cat, Tynna and Riao, you guys, you get your spells back on long rests. Most classes, it's long rests. Some of your special class features and stuff can be short rests. But yeah, no, specifically spell slots come back on long rests. The only exception to that, naturally, is warlocks. Warlocks spells. That's kind of what's cool about Warlock. One of their cooler features. Warlock spell slots reset on a short rest, so it gives them. They don't have as many spell slots. In fact, they have almost none. But they get what little spells they have back, even on a short rest. So that's a pretty cool thing about the Warlock class. So yeah, unfortunately, but you guys, your higher level spells that you may have used, those slots are still expended.
No, fuck yeah. Thank you for the clarification. Sorry to that up, but thank you.
All right. So, you guys kind of resolve this encounter. This you see is that he again tries to hustle some of his wares. He doesn't have, a new Baru level magic item or anything for you. You can kind of tell by the way that the potion bottles and vials all come from different places and locations that he didn't necessarily get them all in the same location, and you're not really sure how he got to about them. You remember your encounter with him the first time. It seemed that the experience with Divot, he didn't really want to mess with you guys, but you don't know if that would necessarily have been the case had you proceeded differently. So, and everywhere within 3.3 miles of this spot, he knows what's going on, except for what's going on in that cave.
Boxo, do you have any small boxes? I feel like you might have picked some up on your travel. Maybe actually large boxes too. Let me see how many boxes you have.
He's like, do I? Yeah, of course I do. He's like, fine little boxes. That's actually how I made my way up in the world at first. I learned to whittle. Not a lot of goblin whittlers out there, if you ask me. And he pulls out a bunch of little small boxes. Yeah, he's got he can get more access to whatever various boxes of any size. Boxo, unsurprisingly, knows what's up with boxes.
Well, I take a look at his wares and I pick out the most like pretty delicate like ivory pearlescent one that I can find, and it's actually it kind of looks like an urn a little bit, and that's why I pick it out.
Nice, yes, you see,
Yeah.
of course, yes. I recall I actually purchased this one. He looks at it. He'll sell it to you for 2 gold pieces. It is, like you said, it's got some ivory in it. It's not necessarily entirely made of ivory, like he might be making it seem like it is. But it's like there are ivory accents to it. And he's like, of course, for 2 gold, I would allow you.
I hand over the tool happily.
Again, he tries to reach down, his sack too full for the coins. And you see he just pops 2 of them in his mouth. And he's just kind of sucking on the coin in the corner of his mouth.
Okay, cool. Well, everybody else is finishing up their purchases from Boxo. I'm kind of gonna slink off a little bit and go over to Mithra's legs, and if I can, I'd like to have a quiet little moment and cremate her legs and put them in this Boxo urn.
Yeah, you again the bottom half of Dear Mithra Willow song, the half that wasn't chewed up by the Tyrannosaurus Rex, that it was your brother. You walk over, it's quite a gruesome sight that you don't even let yourself look upon is how nature will feed her, how now the ashes that you create will feed the nearby trees. And so Mithra Willow Song will live on in this small area that Boxo knows all about, just through the roots and trees and plants and water of this region. So you kind of summon out your crematory tools, and you put the remains of your dear friend and lover from the past, Mithra Willow Song, to rest in the ash.
And I do it as surgically and as quickly as possible. I've already mourned her the second I saw the evil that overtook her. So this is something that has to be done, and I do it quickly, and then I quickly I find some leaves and I stash them so that it's sealed as much as I can, and I just hold on to that.
Boom. So yeah, you after you've heated the remains and turned them into ash and gathered what you will and let the winds take a little bit of it just to feed the tree life around you. You feel that cyclical cycle of nature. You look down, and in the fire burned away, the metal of the necklace still remains. And you look down and you see the necklace with the 2 halfling feet, once connected, now dangling on either side of the chain. But it did survive the fire and lays there at your feet.
Okay, well, I'm gonna rip off my necklace, I know it's gonna be hot, but I'll snatch it, and I'm gonna just place those gently with the rest of the remains that I carry with me.
Nice. You're almost helping use it to seal the urn itself. You create a nice little memory, choosing not to remember the Scythisis-infested Mithra Willow Song, that stung you like a scorpion in a prison cell and, told your father where you were and turned her back on you and been deceitful to you several times. You remember the beginning, the girl you grew up with in Ashbury. And you choose to hold on to that memory, and so you kind of take that and you bottle that up, and you have that with you now, after having given her, the closest thing you think you could to a peaceful rest.
I just know that she's free now. And I tuck her away and I move on and I come back to the group as, shoving it down. Classic Tynna smile.
I'm fine!
Everything's fine.
Juggle something, Boxo.
Yo, so do all of our sundials do the thing that Bruenor's did, where it has like a thing in it?
No.
No.
I mean, you could ask for one though, and I'm sure Boxo would pull one out.
Yeah, Boxo, I want one with like a stash box, or like a ring with a stash box in it.
Yeah, brother.
Can I get a sundial ring with a stash box in it?
Ooh, yeah, like one of them old school just gangster royalty rings that had that little hello in there. You see, he's like, yes, too clunky for one so thin, and you see, he kind of like talks about the fact that your body is literally like rotting away. You can kind of see the skeleton underneath, and he's just like, oh, yes, here, and yeah, procures it.
Okay, can I tell you what I want to stash in it?
Absolutely.
All right, I want to stash that spiky, evil, like attacky mushroom that I like stashed away in my bag.
Yes, the blood-sucking mushroom.
Yeah, I want to keep him like stashed inside of this ring thing.
All right, so yeah, Divot, you pulled this thing off of even, again, you not having any blood. This strange parasitic mushroom was beginning to devour the marrow of your very bones. And so, a little hesitantly, you kind of like take the ring and affix it to where the opening is at the inside. You kind of just push down on the bag, You feel like you smash a bunch of it. Like, you can't, it's not a clean, it's a little bigger than the space itself. But what you get out of it, you manage to kind of twist the ring at the top of the bag, and you pull it out of the bag, and you just see a couple of those weird tendrily veins that kind of snap as you pull it out of the bag. You look into what, the remains of the bag it was in originally, and it's just this like mushed mushroom cap that's just dead and wilted, just like bad shrooms. And so, but yeah, you think that you've got the core of that little parasite in your ring. Cool idea.
Tight.
That's sweet.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So, yeah, dudes, you kind of, at this point, it's, you see Boxo's kind of like dealt with all that he can, and you see he kind of keeps throwing these little glances at the cave. He does seem, like I said, genuinely concerned for the well-being of his goblins that he sent in the cave. He's like, strange, the woman was able to walk out, but my boys haven't come back. Perhaps they went deeper. Can you smell it? And his little sharp goblin nose smells in the air. The kiss of cinnamon, the whisper of the Feywild. And he points into the cave. And you kind of like, all of you at the same time, you're just like, oh, the fucking Feywild. You feel this like cold breeze kind of flow out of the cave entrance. And it reminds you of the song of Queen Mab. And that's where we're going to pick it up next time, guys.
Boy.
Wow.
Can we roll for smell? Like, is that allowed? Can we
Roll for stank.
Yeah, absolutely. Roll
How
for-
stanky
yeah.
is it?
See how stanky
How
that was.
funky is your chicken?
Nice.
No, dope. Yeah, so you guys, you just have a little Feywild magic cave betwixt you and the den of Harnacks, the dragon that you flayed when it was attacking Amarella. You've heard some strange rumors about walking skeletons that may lie undisturbed there. But yeah, a little bit of a course before you. You're worried about Shren. He's got this luck blade, but you do know there's a curse dealing that he would have to deal with as well. So, probably buying you a little bit of time, but you never know what old Shren's up to. Also, the armies are marching toward Nomble Deer. Shren himself is said that that's where his own thugs said that he may be found. So yeah, many threads to follow, but the den of Harnacks with its potential dragon horde to be found, kind of too juicy to pass up. So that is where we're going to pick it up next time, guys. Thank you so much to my amazing cast. I fucking love playing D&D with you guys. Oh my god. That was a treat. And big ups to Boxo for making yet another. Thank you, Divot, for bringing Boxo back to us. It's always a treat.
Yes.
Oh, no.
But we do have a little ritual we like to do around here, guys. Maybe you've heard about it, maybe you haven't, but we like to take a lighter, like this little guy right here. Make sure we're not going to light any of our friends, family, or household pets on fire, and go. Lighters up. Thank you guys so much for playing D&D with us. We're here every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Every Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Dope.
So what? You can't touch me, 'cause I'm from the internet.